Hello, and welcome to Way of the Holy Family. Thank you for joining us as we walk in perpetual hope, drawing ever closer to Jesus through life's struggles and triumphs, filled by the Eucharist, and strengthened by community. Way of the Holy Family is here to bring light, encouragement, and a bit of childish fun for all families seeking holiness. Hello, everyone. Today I want to share with you a Sunday in the life of our family. It's not always like this. It's a season we are currently living, what ministries we are currently involved in, and to illustrate the busyness of a family of 5 children, it's a bit of a ramble, but I hope it entertains you, tells you a little bit more about ourselves, and I promise there is a point at the end. So, imagine this, a busy Sunday. The 2 oldest children have altar serving. My husband has to be Eucharistic minister, and we as a whole family have cafe donuts and coffee after the 2 morning masses. Now, first off, we arrive in 2 cars. Why? Well, so I can drive off with the 3 younger kids if necessary and bring them home for nap. But this morning, Oliver actually left 40 minutes early to take care of another oddball task we had on our morning. But I felt quite professional because timing-wise, we rolled in simultaneously, side by side in the parking lot. And I let the 14 and 13-year-old out to prepare to serve for Mass. Oliver went into the cafe with his backpack to prepare a slideshow. And I unloaded the 6-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 6-month-old baby, a diaper bag, a car seat, and transferring it all to the social hall before going into the sanctuary of the church. And I said goodbye to my husband after dropping off all of our stuff and walked across the campus. We get our steps in, and halfway across the courtyard, I had forgotten my veil. It's in the diaper bag. I'm like, okay. So with the 6-year-old in hand, 3-year-old I'm carrying, baby I'm carrying, we go back to the cafe to go get my chapel veil. I grab my veil out of the bag, and honestly, without a thought or question, I handed the baby over to Oliver while he was working on the computer. I don't know what happened there. Maybe my motherly instincts knew and took over that I had met my limit or it was coming soon. And my husband took on the baby so graciously and joyous, in fact. So he took a third of my load off. And I went with the 2 remaining children to snag a pew, and they were filling up fast at this point. Overwhelmed, I didn't put on a name tag on for Name Tag Sunday. Sorry. But my 6-year-old stayed behind at the table to make one for herself. And I watched from the pew that I settled in from a window as she wrote her name. While waiting for her, actually, I discovered the 3-year-old was poopy. Yep, as I checked, I got also a little bit on my hand. And I was officially in a holding position with my family in all different places around the church. My 6-year-old finally ran up to me and stated with gusto, "The 3-year-old needs a name tag." And I go, okay. So she ran back to the table to create a name tag for her younger sister, and there's me still holding the poop position. And so finally the 6-year-old finishes. She rejoins me, and I see my husband coming with the baby to join us during the opening hymn. And at that moment, I leave with no words but parent sign language indicating I had a new mission to go on. I left the church, crossed the courtyard, and back to the social hall to retrieve diapers and wipes and head to the nearest bathroom. I rejoined the family after changing her during the responsorial psalm. That means the penitential act, the Gloria, another prayer, the first readings had already passed. And I sat for 4 minutes. Then, yes, the second reading. The 6-year-old needs to go to the bathroom. The temptation to put my foot down at this moment was great and tell her to hold it. But I forgot to ask her to check before we left our house. And I closed my eyes thinking, Mary, what do you think of this? I felt like I could see her just gently nod her head with a smile, and I could hear her say with a sweet voice, "Take care of her." And in my gracious, happy motherly attitude, I said, "Okay, fine." So we left to the nearby bathrooms. Standing outside, I worked to listen to the homily. And honestly, I couldn't recall a thing looking back on it. But the 6-year-old came out. We entered our pew once again when everybody stood up for intentions. And then I got to sit through one song. Now, at this point, though, it was the baby's turn, and he began to fuss as we entered into the Eucharistic prayer. And as I half sat, half kneeled with the baby on my knee, my husband was leaning over and communicating to the 3-year-old, preparing her for his absence while he serves as Eucharistic minister. He managed to make a smooth escape during the Our Father, but not without the disgruntled look of the toddler glaring at him as he snuck away. We knelt back down and the 6-year-old is rubbing the baby's binky in the carpet. So I have to correct that. But guess what? Communion was peaceful. Everyone lined up beautifully, walked beautifully, and receiving our Lord was beautiful. Then we went back to our pew, grabbed the remainings of our belongings, and we went straight back over to the social hall to prepare to serve the masses after Mass. Now, I'd have to say, this was the busiest Sunday we've had when it comes to ministering to our parish. These kinds of Sundays happen only twice a year or so, but it's a marathon. It's a 7-hour ordeal if you're there the whole time. I'm only there about 4. We were exhausted by the end of the day, but our spirits revealed that during reflections and night prayers, our spirits were revitalized regardless of the busyness. And that showed it was the right kind of work. I have to admit, I'm proud of it too. Obviously, I'm talking about it. Thanks for listening. We have been on one end to the next when it comes to devoted time and serving. We've had our seasons of absolutely no volunteering to almost drowning in tasks due to poor priority order or time management. I have volunteered at my children's youth classes, and I've also been the reason why emails went out to remind parents to pick their kids up on time from class because I was trying to make a few extra dollars in delivery work after I dropped off my child. Even last fall, my daughter's teacher asked, "When are you going to train as an instructor?" And I laughed in response, saying, "I don't know. I'm expecting a baby in October." So, honestly, I didn't volunteer at all this past year. And my husband, in fact, drove our daughter to class most of the time. To conclude, we do what we can and we help when we can. We look back and laugh at the chaotic moments and poor judgment on the discretion of our time, but ultimately, we offer up what we have and we're at peace with that. We serve where we can and how we can as a family. Peace, friends. Thank you for joining us today. Check back every Tuesday and Thursday as we drop new episodes and news. Feel free to follow, or if you would like to know more information about Way of the Holy Family, please click the link below to our website, wayoftheholyfamily.com.